STIHL Timbersports Canada is brought to you by Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. City of Charlottetown, PEI. Great things happen here. Tourism Prince Edward Island. Come find your island. Johnsonville. Discover the taste of Johnsonville. Moto Mix, official premixed fuel of STIHL Timbersports, available at your local STIHL dealer. Fitz Toronto. We build better athletes. Official trainer of STIHL Timbersports Canada. John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. SLH Transport. Official transport partner.
Prince Edward Island has endless opportunities for excitement and adventure. While it might seem like a small place, it's bursting with incredible cuisine, miles of white sand beaches, golf courses, historic sites, hiking, cycling, kayaking, and many more outdoor adventures. Whatever type of vacation you're looking for, it can be found here. You just need to come find your island. Charlottetown is the capital of PEI and is known as the birthplace of Confederation. John A. Macdonald and the other fathers of Confederation met here in the spring of 1864 and spoke of forming a nation. It's also known as a great place for summer vacations. The downtown area is a collage of local businesses from restaurants to artisan shops. There's also beautiful waterfront area, complete with boardwalk and marina. However, the crown jewel of Charlottetown is Victoria Row, a cobbled road lined with patio bars and coffee shops, perfect for lunches under the summer sun or a warm night drinking with friends. Right beside Victoria Row is the Confederation Center of the Arts, home of the Anne of Green Gables musical, the world's longest-running annual theater production. PEI is known as Canada's food island. When you think Prince Edward Island, you probably think food. Amazing fresh food, potatoes, beef, lobster, oysters, mussels, all top-notch and all from the island. Chefs are able to develop very close relationships with fishermen and farmers, which allow them to source the best ingredients and come up with innovative ways to accentuate their flavors. It is very common to order a dish made with local ingredients that were hand-picked that same day. Island seafood is widely considered the best of the best. 75% of PEI's lobster catch is rated high-quality Canna variety, and we provide 80% of Canada's mussels, near 80 million pounds per year. You can visit one of the many fishing villages and see the daily catch come in right off the boat. Today, Charlottetown is the host city of the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Champions Trophy, celebrating Canada's 150th anniversary. Hey folks, Sabrina Pearson here, welcoming you to the first STIHL Timbersports Canadian Champions Trophy. We've got 8 of Canada's top athletes all vying for that spot. We'll see who will be crowned the Canadian Champions Trophy winner.
The Champions Trophy is quite a bit different because it's more of an endurance event. So it's going to test your will and your ability to do some work when you're fatigued.
Obviously, this is the first time that I've competed at a Champions Trophy in Canada. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how I stack up against the rest of Canada in a format like this. I've done all the homework and background work necessary to be successful at this event, so I expect a good result out of myself.
STIHL Timbersports, it's so different from the other generic sports, and it's just a level of intensity and ability and strength that completely different kind of thing that really caught my attention. My game is to not pay attention to the clock or the other person I'm competing against. I find I do best when I just focus on doing what I can do, what I know I can do.
Competing in the birthplace of Confederation on Canada Day is truly amazing. Doing in the most extreme sport around.
It's a great honor to be able to come here and compete for this first inaugural Champions Trophy. I've been looking forward to this for months since I found out I was selected.
So yeah, I'm from the Maritimes, so to be here in Charlottetown isn't a place that I get very often, but it's nice to visit another, kind of hometown. All the tall ships are here today, and you can tell there's lots of activities going around in town, and it's a big deal here today, so it's going to be awesome.
Camaraderie between the competitors here has been awesome. It's like any other show. We're all friends. We're just BSing in the back and telling all our stories and stuff like that. I imagine when it gets closer to game time, it'll slow up a little bit, and everybody will start focusing on what they have to do throughout the day, but it's great to see the 7 guys again.
I've been competing in the STIHL Timbersport series for about 3 years now in the rookie division. Now this is my first year moving up to the pro division. To be competing here on Canada's 150th birthday means a lot. I'm Canadian, so I try to make everyone proud.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We are about to kick off STIHL Timbersports Canada's Champions Trophy event. Before we start, let's join Ryan McIntyre as he gives us a run-through of what our athletes are up against.
Hi folks, Ryan McIntyre here, the 2017 Canadian Champions Trophy in Charlottetown, PEI. I'm going to walk you through what the athletes are going to be doing here tonight. First off, we're going to start off with the stock saw. But before we do, the most important thing in any STIHL Timbersports event is safety. We've got our ear protection, which I'm going to put on, I've got my eye protection, and I've got my chaps. That's a different setup than most STIHL Timbersports events. You would normally do 1 event at a time. In the Champions Trophy, we're doing 4 events back to back, so I don't have to wear these chaps for the entire routine. It adds a whole nother dynamic. With the stock saw, I'll have 4 inches of wood that I'll have to make 1 cut. I'll have to pick up the saw, make 1 cut down through, but another interesting dynamic is that I'm gonna have a single buck saw set up right next to my stock saw. I have to make that cut without cutting underneath where my single buck saw is gonna go, or I'm going to mess up later on in the event. I make 1 cut straight down flush. I set my saw off to the side, take my earmuffs off, take off my safety glasses, and walk over, or jog, to the underhand chop. Normally this would be flattened off so there's footholds, but this log isn't quite ready. We'd hop up on this log, take 8 to 10 hits on one side, 8 to 10 hits on the other side, finish the log off, set our axe down, and run back over to the same log we started on to do the single buck, also known as the Misery Whip. A 6'2" racing saw, and this is a killer event. Burning the lungs at this point. You're tired, but you're not done yet, because next on the list, and last, is the standing block chop. You're gonna step up here, cut halfway through one side, lungs burning, halfway through the backside, finishes the log off. The athlete with the fastest total time of the entire relay will be crowned our champion.
Well, folks, the wood is prepped and ready. The crew's going to take it to the stage. More importantly, the athletes are ready to head to the stage and battle it out here at the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Champions Trophy. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome back, folks. We're about to get underway in the qualifying time trial round. Today, these Timbersport athletes will be racing against the clock in an individual heat, all vying to secure a top seed placement spot in the main event bracket for the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy.
Okay, I just got the cue. Let's get things moving. Everybody make some noise. Here we go. Qualification round. Round 1, heat 1. Let's bring him up. George Williams.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Here we go. George is into the wood. Looks like a good, clean cut so far, which is kind of surprising. This is not his best event. There you go. The safety gear is off. He is cutting into his block right now. Make some noise for him, everybody. Let's go. He is the first one to put on a show for you today.
Let's keep him going, folks.
Keep it going.
He's working hard. This is hard work.
There we go. He is through the underhand chop, and he is on to the single buck. Here we go. For George, he's got to use his whole body. He set a good pace there with that one. Does he have enough gas to get through the standing block? Let's find out. He's got to hit those angles to get through. Accuracy and power is what George needs right here. Lungs are burning. And this is his debut in the pro division, and he's doing a fine job. There it is. Well done, George Williams.
What a start.
The cut is good.
All right, I'm here with George Williams. George, you just went through your first Champions Trophy run. I thought you did great. What'd you think? How'd you feel about it?
I feel I didn't do the best as I could. The block, there was some knots, so I drew my face kind of tight.
Did you feel you still had some gas left in the tank, or was that it? You were done?
I think I had a little bit left, not much. I'm pretty exhausted.
It looks like a pretty tough event. So I thought you did great. I think this is going to be great for you tomorrow. So best of luck tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
With a respectable time of 2:06.61, George Williams will wait patiently to see how his time measures up against the other athletes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for heat number 2. He hails from Nova Scotia. Put your hands together for Berlin Nickerson.
Get set.
Here we go. He is into the wood now. Make some noise for Berlin Nickerson. A good entrance into the wood. A good clean cookie, it looks like. We do have a yellow flag there on deck. Some heavy blows into the underhand chop by Berlin Nickerson. He is through his block. Finding his rhythm there into the single buck. He had a strong debut at the Canadian Championship qualifiers last year. A slight hang up at the end there. Let's go, push it through. There we go, Berlin, and on to the standing block chop. Really on target there, hitting his marks. There we go.
DQ, hands not on the wood when gun was fired.
Welcome to the stage from Wolfville, Nova Scotia, Trevor Schofield.
Timer ready. Athletes ready. Hands on the wood. Get set.
Here we go. A good entry for Trevor Schofield into the wood in the stock saw. Here we go. The gear is off as he heads over to the underhand chop. This is his best discipline. This is the one event that he trains for the most. And wow, look at those chips flying off. He did mention he might hold back a bit in the underhand chop to save some gas for the misery whip. Look at this man go. He is in incredible shape. Trevor Schofield from Nova Scotia. And there it is. And he moves on to the standing block chop. Make some noise for Trevor Schofield from Wolfville, Nova Scotia. And he's going to have to start driving that off to get a really good time. And it looks like he's going to attempt to do that right here. Here it is. There we go. A great performance by Trevor Schofield. He's got to be happy with that one.
We have a good cut.
Posting an unofficial time of 1:55.64, Trevor Schofield sets the qualifying time to beat for the remaining athletes.
In this event where, you want to have 4 things done in a minute, it takes a lot of athleticism, and so that's what's got me a little worried is the endurance.
Put your hands together from Truro, Nova Scotia, Scott Reed.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
A slight delay there getting into the wood for Scott. He pushes his saw aside. He's heading into his underhand chop. He just needs to drive that bottom wood to sever it off there. Keep things going here for Scott Reed from Truro, Nova Scotia. There we go. He is through the underhand chop, and he is going to make his way over to the single buck. And here is where Scott comes through. He can place a tremendous amount of weight on the bottom half of the saw. He cuts lots of wood there. He's found his rhythm now. There we go. He is through on his single buck, and he is now on to his standing block. There we go. We're with you here, Scott. Keep it going. He's trying to drive that off right now, folks. And there it is for Scott Reed. Well done, Scott, from Truro, Nova Scotia, ladies and gentlemen.
Jumping up in here into the underhand chop, it's my most terrible event. It takes the energy right out of me, gasses me. When I finished that chop, I still had lots in the tank to get to my favorite event, the single buck, and I was bearing on it. I was like, yeah.
A lot of weight on the saw.
A lot of weight, get through it with as least strokes as possible. However, that really killed my upper body. And then I was like, oh yeah, I gotta do that standing block. Yeah, and I just didn't have anything left. I'm a 30-second, that comes out wrong. Hey,
You're a sprinter.
I'm a sprinter, not a marathon runner. Let's go there, yeah.
Having a slower time than what Scott Reed had hoped for, he knows he will be positioned in the bottom seed bracket and will likely face a top qualifying contender.
Don't go anywhere, folks. There's more exciting Stihl Timber Sports action coming up right after the break.
Travel from the other side of the country, so this is, I've only had one other opportunity to be in PI, and it was years ago. Really neat to be on the other side of the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Coquitlam, BC, Nick Hall.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
From British Columbia, Nick Hall has a great entry into the stock saw. This is one of his strengths, and he is going to go full tilt into the underhand block. This is another of Nick Hall's strengths. They chop a harder wood out on the west, and look at his pace, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, that wood is just a flying off, and he's onto the other side already. This time is fabulous for Nick Hall from Coquitlam, British Columbia. There we go, and he is through onto the single buck. This is not Nick's best discipline. A slight hang up there getting into it, trying to find his rhythm. And oh, another hang up there for Nick Hall. Help him out, folks, as he pushes through this cookie and he finishes. Look at the time. Nick Hall has got a great pace here at the Canadian Champions Trophy. What a fabulous pace here for Nick Hall. That's right, and there it is for Nick Hall. Look at that time, ladies and gentlemen. And that is an unofficial time of 1:52.69 for Nick Hall.
DQ, incomplete cut, stock saw. Oh.
Posting a solid time, but receiving a disqualification, Nick Hall gets bumped into a bottom seed bracket. Stay tuned. We will be right back with more coverage of the STIHL Timber Sports Champions Trophy qualifying round right after the break.
Put your hands together for Nick the Muscle Russell.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
And a good start there for Nick Russell. His stock saw is his best event because he has this tremendous ability to remain mentally focused. Oh, and a slight step over his underhand chop. Keep things going. There it is. He's through his underhand chop and onto the single buck. Here we go. Ooh, a smooth start there for Nick Russell. Looks like he's got a good pace going, and he is through his single buck at 1:12. Let's see how he can end this thing at the standing block. He's going to need your help. Look at that wood fly off, and he is going to start to drive this wood off here real soon. There it is for Nick the Muscle Russell.
The cut is good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The premier heats of the event. Welcome to the stage, Marcel Dupuis.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Expect Dupuis to come out guns a-blazing in this qualifying event. He had a smooth and a beautiful cut there in the stock saw, and here is where he is going to explode. Look at the pace and look at that wood fly off. My goodness, this is beautiful. Woo, here we go, and he is through and on to the single buck. And once again, he's the official national record holder in this event as well. A slight hang up there at the beginning. He found his pace though. Make some noise for Marcel Dupuis. And there it is. Look at the time, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the axe hit that wood to the other side already. One more. Oh, come on. There it is for Marcel Dupuis.
Cut is good.
Laying down an incredible time, Marcel Dupuis claims the top seed placement spot with one qualifying competitor left.
All right, I'm here with Marcel Dupuis. Marcel, I thought you had a pretty good run there. You said there's a few hits in the underhand you thought you could fix. Is that kind of the big change for tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to clean that up because definitely a few hits in the underhand, got a few hits in the standing, a few hang-ups on the single, clear that up and see how it goes tomorrow.
Can you make up that time tomorrow on those events?
Absolutely. it can be done.
All right, I like to hear it. Well, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
When you're running in this Champions Trophy event, the qualifying is actually the most difficult race to run. Because you're out on stage by yourself, there's no crowd, there's no real atmosphere yet, and it's really hard to get yourself motivated to put forth your best performance. So you're going to see who's really mentally tough and who has actually done their homework and prepared for this event.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for your reigning Canadian champion, Sterling Hart.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Once again, this is going to end real fast. Oh, what an entry for Sterling Hart on the stock saw, as expected by your Canadian champion. And here he goes, entering into the underhand chop. Keep in mind, Sterling just got over pneumonia. He also has a very sprained ankle. Onto the other side already for Sterling Hart at 20 seconds. A great performance thus far by Sterling Hart. This has been his weak discipline this year because he's been focusing a lot on other disciplines. And here he is into the single buck. Strongest discipline right now. He is using a Mercier racing saw, and look at him go on that single buck. And the cookie is down and onto the standing block. This is his best event traditionally for Sterling Hart. He is a chopper. Make some noise. Look at that wood. Here we go. Make some noise for your champion, Sterling Hart. What a performance.
The cut is good.
And that's good news there for Canadian champion Sterling Hart, as expected, posting the best time of the day, 1:08.58 unofficially.
Canadian champ, boy, you were tuned up for this thing. What changes for tomorrow?
I might have a few little tricks up my sleeve. You don't pull everything out in the first one. The qualifying run, from my experience, you go with your solid run. You go with your 7 iron, the old trusty one. You just go, get that established time in, make sure you qualify, and then after that, every round you get more comfortable. You get used to the wood. It's gonna be a good day tomorrow. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Okay.
Lighting up the stage with the fastest time in the qualifying round, Sterling Hart has claimed the top seed placement spot moving into day 2 of the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy. With qualifying complete, our athletes know what they're up against heading into the final round of competition. Join us next week as we have more exciting coverage of the 2017 STIHL Timbersports Canadian Champions Trophy.